This is one of the dolphins who welcomed us to the Pacific Ocean. We met up with this pod about 30 miles off the Washington shore as we finally began making our way south. More on these guys later. Before we got to the Pacific, we had to start prepping for open water. We did this by hoisting our dinghy onto the deck with the use of a halyard that was attached to the mast. We secured it down with tubular nylon, which also served as something for us to hook our harnesses into while we were underway and trying to maneuver across the deck. Another issue that we really wanted to tackle before we set off was the anchor windlass.
At some point, Jester's anchor windlass stopped working. The down switch was rusted out, and the windlass itself was getting no power. We never actually identified where the current was interrupted. We just decided to wire in a couple batteries that we had on hand. With the battery bank in place under the starboard settee, Kevin wired everything up, and we tested the up and down switches by connecting the leads. Next, we removed the old deck fittings and installed the new switches. We recaulked the area so that hopefully the new switches won't rust out. The only thing left to do was test our work.
Just one more thing to show you guys before we get on with the actual sailing portion of the video. In this little box in here is kind of the heart of where all of our solar setup is. Right here you'll see our big 400 amp hour battery, our two solar charge controllers. Over here the disconnect switches from the panels themselves to the charge controllers, a positive and negative bus bar, fuses in between. Over here, I love this little thing, it's our Victron Smart Shunt. That helps us monitor our battery state of charge so we know how much juice we have at a given time. The big thing is this new guy right here. That's our brand new inverter. It's a 3000 watt inverter by Renogy. And so far, we haven't had any issues with that. That is our new transfer block, or that's our new transfer switch, I guess. Basically what that does is if we're hooked into shore power, like we are right now, we've got 115 volts of AC current coming in. That transfer switch is going to prioritize the shore power rather than the power from the inverter. So we're saving juice in the battery, and we're not running the risk of those two feeding to the panel at the same time, and that hopefully eliminates issues like fires. And with those things out of the way, it's time for us to leave Tacoma. Alright, so we just took off. We're hoping to hit the Strait of Juan to Fuca today. The conditions are pretty good for sailing right now. We'll see how it is, or how it's looking when we get up there. Hopefully it's not too bad. The weather's good to us.
Just did our first full nighttime sail. We're about 8 knots from Port Angeles. Pretty uneventful night. Autopilot freaked out on us for a few minutes, but we resolved that. And we had about 2 hours of super thick fog, but other than that, things went pretty well.
So we're in the Strait of Juan to Fuca now. Now we're motoring into a little marina up here. What's this place called, Brad?
Port Angeles.
Yeah, so we're stopping at Port Angeles to pick some stuff up and give ourselves a little recharge before we head to, what's the next place?
Neah Bay.
And then the plan is to head to Neah Bay. Everybody's tired. Once again, we're in, we're out, and we're back down the strait. Oh. Alright, so we're leaving Port Angeles, heading back out into the strait. Not really sure exactly how long it's going to take us to get out to the actual Pacific Ocean. Not so fun update on the solar panels. We never got the mounts for them, so they're just sitting here on the deck like this. They're tied in, and they're still bringing in a good amount of power. But as of right now, that's the best we can do.
We stopped at Port Angeles for just a couple hours, topped off on fuel and water, and now we are motoring towards Neah Bay. Unfortunately, there is no wind, so we've got the head sail furled and the mainsail is centered. Hopefully we can find some wind soon, but we want to get moving so we can get to Neah Bay and then down to California in timely fashion.
All right, we're here in the Strait of Juan to Fuca, about 20 nautical miles from Neah Bay, which is right at the mouth, right before we enter the Pacific Ocean. Isaac just made some pretty killer cheeseburgers. Tasted pretty good.
Heck yeah, brother.
We got Kevin up here chilling. Say hi. And we had our first seasick victim, this guy over here. He's got a cool little patch. Show him your cool little patch.
I threw up.
Don't show him your cool little, yeah. He's got that cool little anti-nausea patch. So, but it's okay. He's still eating a cheeseburger, so I think he'll make it just fine. No wind again.
No wind.
So, bringing in the sails, and we're gonna motor for a little bit and hopefully chase that wind down.
We got the motor going now, so we're moving along at about 6 knots. Last night it got pretty cold out here, so we've been doing shifts with guys. We've got 2 guys taking a break for about 4 hours at a time, and meanwhile the other 2 are up here navigating and doing the thing, getting us where we're trying to go. And yeah, it gets chilly up here. By the time we pulled up to the bay, the gang was exhausted. It was the middle of the night, and we thought it was best to just motor in and get some sleep before hitting the Pacific.
Yeah, we're gonna pull into Neah Bay, sleep for about 8 hours for the first time in 4 days.
Yeah.
And grab some extra provisions, top off on fuel and water, and we should be on our way.
This is our last stop before going to the ocean. It's a big change of pace from Puget Sound, where we saw sailboats and yachts in every slip. Here, every slip has a fishing vessel. And not all of them float.
So, I'm up here on the engine, steering us out of Neah Bay. And we stayed for the night. We got fueled up. Birch and Brad are inside making a float plan. Kevin's cleaning up in there. We're expecting some pretty decent sized waves over the next few days. We didn't record much when we pulled in. We literally just fueled up, got a few more things to eat, and now we're heading back out. Overall, I'd say the Strait of Juan to Fuca was pretty good to us.
Got this last little, after we pass that island, we'll be out of the bay, and less than an hour we'll be out on the Pacific. Gonna get the sails up and get going.
Getting out here into some much bigger water now. It's getting windy too. Well, we are officially crossing into the Pacific Ocean, leaving the Strait of Juan to Fuca, and the water is only getting bigger.
Everyone's set. We're about an hour into the Pacific Ocean. We got about 3.5, 4 foot waves. We sailed all the way out here. Everyone was fine. Birch got a little sick yesterday, but that's fine. We're all miserable.
We're turning around.
We're
quitting. We're going home. We didn't turn around. This is the face of a man who's just been woken up for his shift. And there's no land around him.
Alright, just woke up, day 2 on the water. Isaac and I just took over shift from Kevin and Birch. Doing about 4-hour shifts right now. Yeah, we're about 40, 50 miles off the coast right now.
40 to 50?
Yeah.
Woo! I didn't know that.
So we've gone almost 100 nautical miles since we left Neah Bay yesterday. Cruising at about 6 knots here, going wing on wing. Last night we had a pod of dolphins, I think they're called pods, a pod of dolphins follow us for about a couple hours.
Good ways.
Yeah.
They were friendly. They got up pretty darn close.
Yeah, it was super cool, but the first time I saw something dart under the boat, I first thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, and Isaac didn't want to know what I saw. But then I saw it again, and I was still a little freaked out, and then finally the third time I realized what it was. Isaac and I have been on watch for about an hour, and just made breakfast, kept it simple today. We got, 2 pots of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, bagel and cream cheese, and I got peanut butter and jelly toast. Not a bad day.
My life is a movie.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh. I got that. 2 at the exact same time. Oh. There's like 10 dolphins now. There's like 10 right, there's even more. They're all over the place. Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to tell us that we need a whisker pole. And they're right. Oh, right there you are. Oh, man. Oh, that is so cool. Ah, ouch. Oh. These guys are awesome. Every time I turn the camera to myself, they do something cool. Oh, they're still here. Oh. Watch out for that.
Pulling up to Newport, Oregon after 3 days on the water. Gone just about 200 nautical miles. It's gonna be nice getting back on land. We plan to stay in Newport through Wednesday. There's some bad weather coming. And then Thursday and Friday are supposed to be nice weather again. So hopefully we'll go from Newport to Coos Bay on Thursday and Friday. And then it's supposed to be bad weather again that following Saturday, Sunday. So we'll probably stay in Coos Bay through the weekend and then head down to San Francisco.
As always, feel free to leave something hateful in the comments, and thanks for watching.